Hi everyone, welcome to RnP Cricket Insights. Day 4, Sri Lanka versus England, first test at Old Trafford, Manchester. Hi Rakita, thanks for joining with me today as well. Fourth and the last day eventually of the first test. England managed to win that match after a wonderful game of cricket. Sri Lanka were almost there to win the test match when they were putting 117 partnership for the seventh wicket, having been 6 for 3 in the first hour of the first day of this test cricket. So having considered where they were, it was a great test match and they actually toiled England to win this test match. There's no hesitation about that one. And then Joe Root did his work today, Joe Root's things, and then Ollie Pop did the job for England as the acting captain. So highlights of the day is that, Kamil Mendes, as we spoke about him yesterday, Rakita, he proved what sort of a cricketer he is. He hit his third 100 within his four test matches, and he showed that, he can cope up with any attack in any condition in the world. And then Jamie Smith, actually, the main factor in terms of taking the game away from Sri Lanka in both innings with the bat. And then, as I mentioned, Joe Root took the game away from us. And then also, we have to remind about the wonderful, wholehearted work of Chandimal. It was almost like what Arjuna did, but unfortunately he fell down as the last wicket. If we had another 50 runs lead, then Sri Lanka would have been in a much better position. So Rakit, what are your thoughts on today's the performances of the both
Okay.
teams?
Yeah, Prasad. So actually, given that the start we got in the first day of the test match, this is a great effort by all the team. We were three down for six, and then two down for one in the second innings as well. So we thought that it would be a innings victory for England, but it's very close game at last. So we had the chance to close out the game as well. We uh, did get the good bowling support from all the bowlers, but unluckily. Vishwa is of color throughout the test match, and I think Milan bowled well, but Hasita, anyway, he's the best test bowler we have at the moment, along with Prabhat. But they gave a good fight. Anyway, 5 wickets is what we could get at last, but it could be even closer if the support was given by all the bowlers. Then, yeah, all in all, as a result, we cannot be happy, but given that this start we got, we can be happy and we can be proud about the fighting spirit of our latter order batsmen like Milan Ratnaik, Kamindu, and Dhananjay Chandimal. Their efforts should be really commendable. So, what are your thoughts? What your thoughts about the batting of Sri Lanka today and the bowling of Englishmen today in the first half?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you and I can first of all discuss about today's performances, then we can jump into the summary. Yeah, yeah. In terms of the today's, Sri Lankan batting, I think the composure shown by Kamidu Mendes is superb. I have no words to explain that, and even Sangakkara was really surprised the way that he, batted, and I mean, he showed the composure and he showed what sort of a cricketer he would be to world cricket in the time to come, particularly in this red ball cricket. And we know that, his capability when it comes to the white ball as well. So he actually, I mean, he was not disturbed by the, the bowlers at all up until that new ball was taken. And even with that new ball, the Gus Atkin, was taken to the cleaners by him in the over. before he was got out, but unfortunately then he nicked one. So when he got into the 100 also, his celebrations was like really calm and quiet. I haven't seen such a calm and composed celebration by any of the Sri Lankan batters before, because even Mahela and Sangha were pumped up and jump all over when they hit 100 in England. But this guy was like, he hit like, as if his 20th 100, maybe he celebrated and he just waved his bat to the crowd there. So that's how he's playing cricket at the moment. So what a good prospect for Sri Lankan cricket. And then we can't forget about the wonderful support given by the wholehearted Chandimar. I think he's one of the underrated test batsmen of Sri Lankan cricket. I think he's a bit overshadowed by Angelo Matthews, as far as that, the second generation or the after generation of after generation of Sangakkara and Mahela is concerned. But Chandimal did a great supporting role to Sri Lankan innings today, along with Kamadu Mendis. He was not disturbed by many of the bowlers as well. So his technique was really sound. He had shots and he had answers to English bowlers. So that was phenomenal as well. So as I mentioned earlier on as well, so he reminded me Arjuna's effort a few years ago. So and then as far as the tail is concerned, I think we couldn't perform really well. Vishwa, Prabhacha, Surya, and then Chandimal also got out very quickly after the fall of Kamidu Mendes. So I think when it comes to their bowling, you know, I think the most crucial bowler I see is the all-rounder Vokes. Even though they had PO bowlers, the Vokes is the main factor in terms of breaking the partnership. He did that one today as well, and he was threatening. And even though Gus Atkin took the wicket of Kamil Mendes, the pressure was built by Vokes. So that's the reason why Atkinson got the wicket. So when it comes to there's spinner, nothing much to speak about him in this second innings. We had the correct positive mind frame when it comes to batting against that spinner. So we didn't allow him to settle or bowl into a line and length at all. So that was great plus point from Sri Lanka perspective, particularly when we are going to a much spin friendly conditions in the next game at Lords. So that's what happened in the early session today when Sri Lanka were batting. So then I think Sri Lanka started also today well with the ball. So I would like to hear from you, and I would like to hear much from you about Asita Fernando, the wholehearted guy. He ran throughout the match with a purpose. So we should
Yeah.
applaud him.
Yeah, I think he took his 50th test wicket today. So congrats to him. So it's perseverance and his efforts. It's never say die approach. It's always uh, been a great factor for Sri Lanka in recent successes in test cricket. So that's how he has developed his skills throughout these years, and he challenged Ben Duckett. I mean, he bowled more endeavors uh, consecutively, and then suddenly he bowls a one that left the left-hander. So that's how he got Ben Duckett in a clever way. And in the second half, I mean, when the game is almost done and dusted, then he took the crucial wicket of Jamie Smith. That could be a turning point if things went well for Sri Lanka. But that's a great crucial delivery he bowled to Smith at that point. And along with that, I think I'm really impressed with the bowling of Milan Ratnayaka. He didn't bowl well in the first innings, but In the second innings, he kept the batsman intact, and he didn't give away easy runs for the batsman, and ball into a tight line and length. And precisely he took a wicket as well with that consistency. And Jayasuriya's one, I think Dhananjay has taken a gamble, and he set the field correctly. I feel like Prabhat didn't bowl to his field, and I think he bowled more short deliveries uh, for the fields that he's been given. It's more like a negative line if you think of a leg side specific bowling, but the correct field was set by Dhananjay. So there were not easy runs given at one stage. But he bowled more shorter deliveries later on, and I think he kept bowling throughout from one end. That might have an effect. But all in all, if he did bowl to the correct places, I think he could have get more wickets at that point and tighten the screws. Uh, Anyway, that's the part and parcel of the game. We can't expect every bowler to be peak at the every moment. But those are the few things that we could concentrate on in the second innings, and we should have a plan B. If the plan A is not going to the plan, it doesn't matter if it is a good plan or not. We should go for the second option. So I feel like on-field decisions making by the skipper have a great chance for a game to be drifted to the uh, in favor of our team or the opponent. So I feel like Dhananjay will learn how to adapt to the situations, and also our bowlers will gradually get those experience and precisely get some purges out of the wickets, and get some positive results for our team in overseas conditions. So I feel like uh, we could go for some changes in the next test, Prasad. So what's
Yeah.
your thoughts about how we are going to face in the next tests, and what are the changes we should make?
Yeah, yeah. I think that should be definitely spoke about today. So let me start with the bowling department of this match, and what sort of a changes that we should do. And then I can let you to speak about some batting changes as well. So as far as the bowling, I think I mean our bowling departments as well as the Dhananjay was not fully supported by the main paceman that we picked for this test match. That is the Visha Fernando. He bowled like a guy who doesn't have any confidence. But I can't still find the reason behind that, because when it comes to Visha Fernando, uh, England is his second home. I mean that scenario is not with any of the other pace bowlers or the spinners, because he has been here for the last 2 years. He has been I mean bowling for 2 full seasons, and we expected highly from him. But he bowled like a guy who has no plans, who has no confidence, and like a newbie. And he right from the beginning, so he bowled some negative lines. So in that case, I think we should appreciate as I mean, like you said as well, I mean, the debutant Milan Ratnayaka, he kept bowling that what you call the back of the length, the off stump channel, and just 2 centimeters away from the off stump as well. So he was great. I think Asita and Milan should be supported by another bowler instead of Vishwa in the next game. That should be I think Kasul Rajit, because I can't rely on Lahiru as far as the accuracy is concerned. But then again, somebody can argue that he has done better in the last test in Bangladesh. So there is a dilemma. So there's a competition between them. And at the same time, I need to come with the argument whether we need to have another leg spinner to support Prabhat Jayasuri, because we have Van der Sar in our squad. I don't think that we can do much from Ramesh Mendis, who is having only the Austrian. That can be produced by any of these spinners, because Prabhat has the arm delivery, and even the uh, Van der Sar has that the googly to uh, turn into the right-handers, because when it comes to English lineup, so they have only Ben Duckett as the left-handers, right? So afterwards, I think it's all about 10 right-handers. So when it comes to spinners, they get to bowl in the middle overs. So then they have normally right-handers. So if we get Van der Sar, we can let him to spin away in loads, because that is bit spin friendly wicket normally. So I mean that is something debatable as far as the selection is considered. Otherwise, I think Vishwa should be definitely replaced by Kasun Rajit or Lahir Kumar. So that's what I see. Other than that, I don't see any other changes that we can make when it comes to the lower order batting also. So Milan Ratnaka has been doing superbly. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on the batting changes that we should address? Because I think we have two main highlights as far as the batting
Yeah.
issues are highlighted.
Yeah, first of all, I think I also feel like Kasun Rajit should be given a chance because he's our consistent bowler in Test cricket in recent times. So he did have this ability to swing the ball away and ball into a great channel, and he would be really handful if he had his services this in the first Test. So I would hope. Rajita gets a nod ahead with than the Lahiru,
Mm.
and that's my thought on the bowlers. But in batting point of view, it's a call for the selectors to make whether to drop Nishan Madushka or to drop Kusal Mendes in place of Pratham Nishankar, because I think they persisted with Madushka in the first test because he scored a half century in the practice match, and they persisted with Kusal Mendes because I think he scored 90 or something in the last test between Bangladesh. So that's mm, I think that's the only reasons we can think of keeping uh, Tatum away from the test squad. But given the form and the white ball form that Tatum is in currently, he would keeping him aside and overlooking him is a curse, I think.
Yeah, and
Still,
also,
the
sorry to interrupt you. I mean, when it comes to Red Bull, also he's way ahead than
yeah,
Kusal Mendes when it comes to the first class cricket. So we can't
yeah,
forget about that one also. I mean, in terms of the average, Kusal Mendes
yeah,
is nowhere near to him.
yeah. I think there's a call. I think now since Chandimal
Chandimal's,
is having,
yeah.
yeah, Chandimal's injury might
Hmm.
play some
Yeah, Kusal Mendes will get an
games.
edge, but then
Yeah, that's the
there's
thing.
another argument that Sadira is also there on the bench, but I don't think that Sadira can
Yeah,
compete with his low batting confidence at the minute.
yeah, definitely. So. Still, there's if Chandimal recovered on time, I think better to keep our vice captain away from the team in that sense. But I don't think selectors should take that decision, given that the behaviors they have, and I mean recent decisions they have taken with Kusal Mendes.
I think this
But
guy is really lucky, right? I mean,
yeah,
Chandimal got this injury at the very last minute,
yeah.
and he has a reason to be there in the side now.
The idea. But let's hope the betterment of the team they'll take a good decision, and that
I
will be
think
benefited
I
by.
think I think he will be also saved if Madushka is replaced by Pathum. And let's say that let's
Yeah,
assume that the first wicket will not be fallen very quickly. So
Uh,
then, Kusal Mendes will not get the chance to bowl that moving delivery. Then maybe, he will hit a good 50 or 100 and then, he will make a name again
yeah,
for himself.
yeah,
So that sort of luckiness he has been having throughout the career, despite having the consistency, which is the key. That's why everybody is frustrated at him because the consistency is
yeah.
not there. But he is having that every now and then luckiness and hitting these runs with the
Yeah.
chances that he's getting like this. Yeah,
Yeah, I think from test cricket point of view, keeping Mendes have in the team is bit really doubtful because he doesn't have these stats to back with his stay in the team.
yeah,
But for white ball cricket, I feel like even mainly T20s, he should be in the team. But I doubt about ODIs and the test. So let the selectors take their decisions based on the performance rather than anything, and take some bold decisions that will help Sri Lanka cricket in the long run.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And yeah, yeah. I mean, if Mendes can be kept aside, then there's a chance for the selectors to play both Madhushka and Pathum in tandem. So then, yeah. So let's see how it goes. So
and I feel like we should have a player-to-player replacement. So rather than
like for like
keeping the
replacement.
bat
Yeah,
like for like, yeah, rather than shifting the stable batsman here and there, we should have a replacement for if the opener is injured, then he who's the batsman that should be replaced by. Likewise, that should be there. Otherwise, it will be like when the Australian cricket point of view, they have moved Stephen Smith up to the order to bat as the opener
and even in
in
this match,
place of
Lawrence.
Warner. Yeah, here Lawrence.
Mm,
So I don't think those are good decisions. Those are the makeshift decisions that they had to take at that
yeah.
time.
Mm,
But as a cricketing nation, we should have a proper plan and proper way of maintaining our cricketers. So then they have an target. They have a target that their role is very clear, and
mm,
it is not changed with any situation. So they know when they will get the chance. If you can remember in 1990s, late 1990s, uh, players are hardly getting chances due to the consistency of our batting order, mainly
yeah,
batting order.
correct.
So if there's someone is injured, then we are putting on the right person to replace that batting position. So it's not like we are moving the whole batting order to keep one player
Yeah, that's
in
why
the
I
team.
think the guys like ENGvSL,
Yeah,
didn't get a chance at all in Sri Lankan team.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
So,
feel like, yeah,
yeah, so I think those are the things that we can highlight as far as the issues to be addressed and come to the next game as a stronger side. So while saying that one, so we are not saying that we are a team at the moment with a lack of confidence because uh, having been in 6 for 3 in the first hour of the day of the first test, I mean in this test match, so Sri Lanka toiled them, and so they played old school cricket as opposed to their baseball cricket to get over the line. So that's a critical factor. So why they play this old school cricket? Not due to the conditions, but due to the Sri Lankan bowling, even without the support of the third seamer. So I think if we can add that, if we can fill that issue, as well as if we can, address the issue in the top order, then we'll be a stronger side and we are a good contender to win the Lord's Test. And also, I think, before we wind up this session today, because we will not be having a daily catch up tomorrow because the match is done and dusted, we should highlight, the good positives of this match as far as Sri Lanka is considered, right, Rakita? So the one good positive I can mention is that, I mean, Dhananjay is captain. So, I mean, you mentioned that, we still have I mean, we still see a lot of things that he can learn. But I think, in contrast to Dimuth's captaincy, I think he's a much more attacking skipper, and the way that he addresses the media is also good with a confident frame of mind. So that's also good, and he looks to be a and I mean, never giving up kind of a player, can do. I mean, with a can do mindset. And also, we should highlight about the comeback inning of Angelo Mathis. So, what do you have to say about that one? Because he's now he has scored more than 1,000 runs against England. So he surpassed that one in this, and even I mean, he holds a better average in Test cricket in England than Virat Kohli.
Yeah, exactly. So I really hope that he could have repeated his heroics in this test match as well.
Mm,
So all in all, he's a great asset to have in the team, and I think this would be his last test series in England, sadly. So he
obviously, yeah.
will perform. He will definitely perform in the next two tests as well. So
Mhm.
we will expect more from him. Uh, yeah, Prasad. So
Yeah, and
that's
then Chandimal. So let's focus on Chandimal as well. I think, I think, like I mentioned earlier on as well, Chandimal is one of the underrated Test batsmen in Sri Lankan cricket history. Um, I think he should continue for another couple of years with the way that he is attacking. He's not exactly the textbook, but he's effective as far as the Test cricket is considered. And when it comes to his overall cricket career, I think he didn't manage himself properly in the white ball cricket in the aspect of the consistency. If he had that consistency, he should have been a wonderful cricketer, as we saw back in 2011. But unluckily, that was faded. A lot of criticism came to him as well. But definitely, I think we should appreciate him. And in the day that he is going to retire, the Test cricket, he will be one of the best Test batsmen that Sri Lanka has ever produced. And
yeah.
then, yeah,
Excuse, Prasad, to
yeah,
add to that, I think that's mainly the selector should be partially blamed on that. So if you look at Kusal Mendis, if he stick to his favorite format and the format he's performing well, it is the T20. So if
mm,
he could drop in him in the ODIs and Test, then the unwanted pressure that is coming to him through the social media will be reduced because he's performing what the only format that he's in the team.
yeah,
So people will be silent, and same to do with Chandimal. So
Chandra,
he's not even he's performing in domestic cricket in white ball cricket. He's not showing it. He's not reflecting that in the international cricket in
international
white ball
cricket,
formats.
yeah,
So his best format is Test cricket. So if the selectors kept him in the Test squad only, that again we could save his energy to I mean mental and the physical energy we could have saved, and we could expect more from him in the Test
Test,
format as well. So
mm,
that's the I think lacking thing that all the selectors throughout these 10 years
yeah.
I saw.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think at least now they are doing that one to DDS after so many criticisms.
yeah,
I think he's overlooked when it comes to the white ball cricket, which is the good thing, I think. So he should focus on the red ball cricket. And then what you have to say about Dimut Karat? So he's been classified as the red ball cricket, but we didn't see the the much contribution from him as we expect as the senior pro and the former captain in this. Game. But I
yeah.
think that he was a bit overconfident. He thought that in these conditions he can easily score, so that cost him. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. So this is one off test for Dimuth. He definitely will uh, get back to the normal way of scoring runs. Probably, I think this is his fourth test series between. Uh, I mean, in English soil. So
Hmm.
he has all the experience of playing this condition. So he will definitely get back strongly. in the next two test. So that's what I'm highlighting. So Dimuth is performing on the format that he's really specialized on,
mm,
and the he was brought back to the ODI team when the this ODI World Cup qualifiers are happening.
mm,
Then again, it was a kind of forced decision to make at that time rather than a long term plan. So
yeah,
that's what happened. So I think player management is really important thing, and it will definitely impacting players' mindset, and it will restrict them playing freely.
yeah.
Prasad.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, let's talk about two more, cricketers. I'm not going to talk more and again about Kamidu, so we don't need to jinx him at all. But I want to bring up about our debutant Milan Ratnayaka. So I think he has a solid technique. As far as the batting is concerned, and he was overconfident in the second innings, and he tried to hit a six to Joe Root. So in terms of his bowling, he can bowl to a one single line, and I mean he can keep that channel ongoing if he asks to do that run. So and also when it comes to length, also he can keep bowling the back of the length as well. So Rakita, my question is that now, let's say now if we are going to stick to him in other conditions as well, so we need to see and think of his the usefulness in a flat track or in a slow track, whether we can use him. But I think if we can become a wonderful bowler to keep that channel correct and disturb the batsman regardless of the conditions, then I think he's like Chris Wokes for us, because he can bat. He has a very good technique as well. So any thoughts on him and about his future to use him as the number eight, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
six down. Yeah,
Uh,
because
yeah. So
before you start, one more thing, because I'm not trying to compare with him. Him with Chamida Was, but as far as the overall skill set is considered, so I think Chamida Was played such a role up until his retirement in Test cricket. He was a reliable Test batter. He was not considered as a tail ender. He was a lower order batsman, lower order proper batsman for me, Chamida Was. So he can do that role if we can continue with the as effective bowler. Yeah,
yeah.
Rakita.
Yeah, so I see him as someone who's similar to the old generation player. If you heard about Ravi Ratnayaka, he's also similar sort of player. He's a left
Yeah.
hand. He was a left-hander, and he's bowling right arm right arm fast medium.
Hmm.
And he played in different places in the batting order as well. He once opened the innings as well. So I feel that kind of potential in Milan's career. He has a solid technique to cope up with all the swing and the spin deliveries. So he has that potential, and the bowling point of view, he needs to be more clinical, and he should have some weapons for him to take some wickets. That's what is lacking. So if you take such a player, so
Hmm.
always selectors are thinking thinking a bowler's point of view.
Hmm.
So if he couldn't perform in bowling, then he will definitely be dropped. So rather than going for that way, if we can think him and groom him in place of a bowling all-rounder or batting all-rounder. So still
Hmm.
we are too early to decide that one.
Yeah.
Since we will play in our home conditions, we had to fill our team with all sort of spinners.
Yeah.
But if you can think of a way to groom him as an all-rounder rather than
Hmm.
a specific specialized bowler,
Hmm.
then he will have a good future in Test cricket arena, and
Yeah.
maybe the confidence he's getting through the Test cricket, he might end up playing white ball cricket as well. But let's not put him into that same pitfall, and we'll concentrate on his Test cricket at the moment.
Hmm.
and try to give him the confidence, Prasad.
Yeah, I think
That's my thought.
yeah, exactly. I'm with you. I mean, because now we are going to get New Zealand in our home conditions, but then we have to go to New Zealand also towards the end of this year. So he's a good candidate to play in New Zealand that Test series. But I'm not sure what selectors would be doing with him for the home you know se- series with New Zealand. So let's see. But anyway, a good prospect. I mean, most of the Sri Lankans hadn't seen him or hadn't heard about him before this test in Old Trafford, but he showed what sort of a guy because he had played some club cricket for a couple of years in Australia as well. I think that exposure is shown as well with his batting because he can handle that swing ball when he has a bat in his hand. So so the last player that we are going to talk about is Asita Fernando, the bowler who bowled with a purpose throughout the test match, and he was trying to win the game for us with the ball alone. While he was not getting a proper support with the other end with the seamers, even though he only got a support from Prabhat Jayasuriya. He was also trying hard in a pitch that was not properly supported to him for his spin. But this Asita Fernando was superb. I saw him when he was playing under 19 as well in that 2016 World Cup. So I saw that that hustleness of his action. So that is still there even after 8 years. So that hustling and bustling run with a purpose. So that reminds me Charles Langeveld of South Africa, and some sort of recently retired bowler as well, but his name doesn't come to my mind. That South African other bowler. Um, I don't remember his name
Hmm.
exactly. The guy who bowled in tandem with Dale Steyn. So he's something similar to him. He can swing the ball both ways as well as our bowling coach said. So what sort of things we can expect from him in the next two matches in London, Rakita?
Yeah, Prasad. I think Asit is our main weapon at the moment. He performed really well in the New Zealand as well. If you can remember, he nearly won us a first Test match in New Zealand in New Zealand tour.
Yeah.
And he performed well in the Bangladesh as well. He once took a 10 for
Mm,
and becoming the second fast bowler to take a 10 for in a Test cricket test matches in for Sri Lanka.
mm.
So I think he's a great asset to play, and we should handle him carefully without overloading his workload, playing all the T20 and ODI matches. I know that we had to play him due to some injuries to the white bowlers that we had. So that's a forced decision again. But let him concentrate on Test cricket more, and we
Yeah.
can get the best use of him. And we will have a legendary fast bowler after 10 years from now on.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
we will
if he
see.
if he keeps that fitness as well, and also, I
That's
mean,
the thing.
yeah, he doesn't look like a fast bowler in outward. I mean, he's not that tall, and he's having kind of a pot belly, but he's not out of it. He's a fit guy. Um he's not having an extraordinary action either. I mean, he's not slinger, so he's a ordinary bowler. Ordinary action. He's a bowler with ordinary action, but he's not an ordinary bowler. He's extraordinary, talented character. So yeah, so let's wish him good luck. And
And
he will
then
he will
and
deliver to Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Yes, yes, so and he has the knack of picking the wickets when we are least expecting a wicket. So if you
Mm,
remember in the ODIs as well, he took the Ayers wicket through an indipper,
yeah, yeah,
and this Test match as well, he took uh, Ollie Pope's wicket and also this Jamie Smith wicket. So he
exactly.
has that insulin Yorker to go with this indipper.
Mm,
So that's a great weapon, and I think he keep his fitness and his uh, uh, dedication and towards the bowling throughout his career. and we will see a great uh, cricketer in the making, and we will see a great cricketing career in our generation,
Yeah, that's our
hopefully.
wish. Yeah. Yeah, with that, I think we can conclude our session today. As usual, I'm thanking Rakita to join with me for this today's catch up, which is the last catch up for this test match. Um, Sri Lanka is in the losing side, but it doesn't mean that we haven't fought back at all. We fought back superbly, and England were toil hard to win this test match, even though it got ended within 4 days' time. I think that was a good game of cricket, and if we had that, one more, pacer who could have contributed more, then we could have even in the winning side today. So yeah, thank you very much, all of you, for watching this series, I mean daily catch-up series with us. So we look forward to have a session with you in our weekly, session, maybe early part of next week, right, Rakita? So we
Yeah.
look to bring you some good stories, and also to give you some hints on upcoming cricketer who can win the world. So yeah, stay with us and look forward to that new session in few days time. So till then, bye for now. Take care, everybody.